Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk. Now, what exactly is ISO 222 and how is it going to affect the crypto industry? That is the bottom line. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. But before we do so, let's give a shout out to Mike Cornwell, who reported this information to us, a great member of our Crypto Talk Now network family/community. And if anything, if you want to be a person to see your particular research or content featured in a future video, by all means, follow us. You can follow either Larry at CryptoTalkNow21 or myself, DPG Maximus, on Twitter. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's detailed analysis in regards to these ISOs. So as we can see right here, there's a few detailed things I want to go over. So for one, like you see, it mentions ISO 222 coins may be treated more leniently by regulators and force mass adoption of the standard. And here, if you've been following us for a while, we pound that home. The whole idea of mass adoption, that is the key to basically seeing some of these crazy, forecasted market caps that we, basically mention. If anything, some of the people from our audience and whatnot, they think it's mind-boggling to hear things like $500 billion market cap, maybe in the trillions. Some people think it's absolutely nuts, to say the least. But when we break it down, it should give you a better understanding of how this can be achievable, to say the least. So, like it mentions right here, ISO 222 is an international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions via SWIFT. You wonder what SWIFT stands for? It stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. The main financial messaging network used by banks across the world. ISO 222 will dramatically change how banks communicate with each other by increasing the amount of information that can be communicated and improving interoperability. You've been following us on some of the quant videos. The main thing that is, I guess you could say, the main word that we use to sum up quant: interoperability. You're going to hear that quite a bit. In addition to changing the traditional banking and financial services industry, the migration from traditional SWIFT messaging, referred to as MT messaging, to ISO 222 could also dramatically impact the crypto industry. And towards the end of this video, we'll cover just exactly what that means for you, and also in regards to other people who may be on the fence when it comes to getting involved in these ISO 222 compliant coin/token projects. On top of that, specifically, coins that comply with the standard may be more rapidly adopted into the traditional financial system. In addition, if large cap cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum are integrated into the SWIFT system and given official ISO numbers, this could radically change the way the crypto and fiat currency ecosystems coexist, to say the least. Here, of course, is a list, but not all, of the ISO 222 compliant cryptos. You have the likes of XRP, Qnt, Algorand, Cardano, which hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but they are leaning towards that. Of course, XDC, which is Zinfin's network, XDC network, and of course, Stellar Lumens. Of course, I realize there's other ones like Casper, Flare, Iota, so on and so forth. I'm sure there's some ones that left on that list. Now, there's a table of contents in here, and we're not going to basically get into every single one of these, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and focus on the sections I feel as though stand out the most. And if anything, if you want to read more about it, of course you can. One thing I'm going to definitely point out is some of the message types. So right now, all SWIFT messages are classified as MT messages, basically. MT stands for message type text. This is followed by a 3-digit number that denotes the message category, group, and type. MT messages are structured via the ISO 15022 standard, which the ISO 222 standard is intended to replace. Basically, ISO 222 compatible messages are referred to as MX format messages. The MX ISO 222 was developed in the early 2000s, but MT ISO 15022 messages still remain the most common type of Swift messaging. And later on, we're going to break down why that's important and why we're basically mentioning that. It has basically to do with going from point A to point B with the messages. Again, faster transactions, but also faster messages. It's a combination of the two. On top of that, you have a little bit of Swift ISO 222 timeline and ISO 222 and the Federal Reserve. This part is actually worthy to notate, to say the least. So MX/ISO 222 mandatory adoption. Take a moment to recognize that mandatory adoption. How is this going to be tied into the cryptos that are ISO 222? Think about anything in which the banking system is going to have mandatory anything to be great for especially you as the investor, right? Because if anything is incentivizing a mandatory regulation, that creates what? That whole adoption, instant adoption, because they have to. The crypto, in this case, like XRP and XLM, et cetera, has the utility ready. Well, I'm not trying to sell you. You could kind of put, draw the line and put the dots together. Like I mentioned, it's intended to occur in several stages. High-value cross-border payments in the European Union will first transition to ISO 222 in November 2022, particularly payments involving the Target 2 system. And we outlined that in previous videos in regards to that. So the whole Target system, Target 2, I should say, is going to start basically in November of this year, 2022, and going forward. The real-time financial settlement system used by central banks in the Euro system. The U.S. Federal Reserve will fully transition to ISO 222 by November of 2023. However, the old MT ISO 15022 messaging system will continue to be partially used until 2025. That's why we mentioned things like, you should see some insane price action between November of 2022 when it comes to these ISO cryptos, right? And also all the way out to 2025. That's where these timelines basically come from. After which the vast majority of MT ISO 15022 messages won't be permitted. On top of that, Swift believes that if current timelines are met, 79% of high-value payments by volume and 87% of high-value payments by value will utilize the ISO 222 messaging system by 2023. Now, this is a real good section. So if anything, I want to say this. Put some focus on this. You'll be glad you did. ISO 222 coins and cryptocurrencies. A variety of cryptocurrencies are currently ISO 222 compliant. These include, obviously, the standout one is going to be Ripple XRP. Member of the ISO 222 standards body, XRP is designed to be a bridge between the crypto and fiat worlds and is used for a variety of purposes, including cross-border settlements. XRP can currently process approximately 1,500 transactions per second, aka TPS. Stellar Lumens, XLM, member of the ISO 222 standards body. Like XRP, it is designed to be a bridge basically between the crypto and fiat worlds with a specific focus on currency conversions for individuals rather than institutions. According to developers, XLM can process up to 3,000 transactions per second, but real-life transaction processing times have been historically much slower. As you also know, we cover XDC quite often here at Crypto Talk now. So Zenfin's XDC, it's compliant. Zenfin is an Ethereum virtual machine EVM compatible delegated proof of stake blockchain intended to function as a digital asset network for enterprises by combining public and private blockchains with interoperable smart contracts. XDC is Zenfin's native currency. Zenfin offers up to 2,000 transactions per second and finality in as little as 2 seconds. Ultra fast. Of course, we talked just briefly, very briefly, in regards to Iota. It's also compliant. Iota is a centralized blockchain ledger intended to handle Internet of Things, that's why it's called IoT-based transactions. Many believe the network has a lot of potential, but it has also faced criticism due to its centralization, security flaws, and the high number of hacks and attacks it has suffered over the last several years, to say the least. Algorand. It's also compliant. Algorand is a major Layer 1 blockchain attempting to solve many of the problems inherent in competitors like Ethereum. is reportedly able to process approximately 1,300 transactions per second. While it does promote decentralization, Algorand's proof-of-stake consensus method has led to concerns about whales dominating the ecosystem. You always hear about, for instance, certain projects where they're low market cap and so on. Whales come in. What if whales dump their position? Same type of thing. It can exist in what? Cryptos that have a high market cap. This is a perfect example. Of course, Hbar, Hedera's Hbar always gets brought up in the news, especially as of recently. So Hedera's Hashgraph, aka Hbar, rumored to be compliant. Again, keyword rumored. I believe that they basically will achieve that. Hedera's Hashgraph is a distributed ledger platform that is similar to blockchain but operates somewhat differently. Hedera Hashgraph is intended to overcome many of the limitations of traditional blockchains and can perform 10,000 transactions per second. Wow, that's smoking fast. With some reporting speeds of up to 500,000 transactions per second. That's insane. If that's true, that's faster than Solana, which is one of the fastest ones out there. With a high level of security, unlike blockchains, Hedera Hashgraph does not use miners for transaction validation, instead utilizing a feature referred to as directed acyclic graph to sequence transactions without splitting them into blocks. Hbar is a native cryptocurrency. That also spells, if that's the case, they don't use miners. That means it's not proof of work. On top of it, Qnt is compliant. The Qnt protocol is designed to solve interoperability issues between major blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple via its overledger. Of course, that's something that we talk about quite a bit when it comes to Qnt. So, via its overledger interoperability network, and intends to connect all blockchains via one comprehensive operating system. We're always talking about Qnt. We're always talking about how it's basically like the Microsoft, if you will, of ISO 222. It literally connects everything. It's the premier operating system for blockchain. It's amazing, to say the least. It literally just does that. Payment APIs, legacy systems, you name it. Qnt protocol is EVM compatible and considered by many to be an Ethereum layer 2, but unlike other layer 2s, it does not require any modifications to the base chain in order to become operational. Qnt is the Qnt protocol's native currency and is paid by developers in order to create and operate decentralized apps on the network. Now, Cardano. Of course, ADA is rumored to be compliant. I believe, of course, it will achieve that, especially with how gung-ho Hoskinson is when it comes to these types of things. So again, it's rumored to be compliant. Cardano is proof of stake, decentralized blockchain network founded by Ethereum co-founder, again, Charles Hoskinson. Is currently the world's largest proof of stake blockchain. ADA is its native currency. Now, there's a little bit more in regards to this, like ISO 222 and Ripple and so on. You could read more about this. I'm not going to get into the whole thing here. I'm going to lay out some key highlights because, again, I realize a lot of this video is a lot of verbatim. And, when I feel as though it's necessary to read a lot of things verbatim, I basically will. But check this out real quick right here. I do like this. Instead of using the traditional mining consensus method, Ripple uses a pool-based consensus method via which nodes validate the authenticity of a transaction. This allows for nearly instantaneous consensus to be reached while retaining significant network decentralization. While Ripple's major currency, XRP, is intended for use by the banking sector, Ripple's secondary currency, Stellar Lumens XLM, is designed for the development of central bank digital currencies, which is CBDCs. Now, you may be a little bit confused there. You're thinking, well, how is Ripple and Stellar? Trust me, just look a little bit more into it if you want more of the details. But like it mentions, XLM is designed for the development of central banks digital currencies, CBDCs. XLM is also specifically designed to act as a settlement layer for cross-currency conversions. That also said, currency of over 300 major banks and financial institutions in 45 countries currently use XLM as a settlement mechanism, including Santander and the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, among many other countries like Brazil, India, and Singapore. As we also know, Singapore is probably one of the most crypto-friendly areas of the world, to say the least. In addition, US-based Ripple validators include Bank of America, American Express, TransferGo, and ZenPay. While it was initially intended as a replacement for Swift, and this is a key area that you want to pay attention to, because again, I think a lot of times people say, XRP is going to replace Swift. It's not about replacing Swift, so pay close attention to this part. While it was initially intended as a replacement for Swift due to its increased speed and exponentially lower transaction costs, integration of the Ripple ecosystem with Swift via the ISO 222 could lead to significant synergy between XRP and Swift, making XRP even more popular and a major alternative to traditional settlements. Take a moment to reflect on that. Because if anything, it's not replacing Swift, it's just basically using their technology to make the old system way better. It's just that. And with that said, the other statement, making XRP even more popular and a major alternative to traditional settlements. Again, we're doing away with the traditional approach of how banking is done. We're using new technology. The adoption will come. As a result, you should see insane parabolic price action, to say the least. This is not just me trying to make a YouTube video and try to produce hopium. Just see the utility for yourself. By all means, do your own research. Do more of it. You need to. Unfortunately, for Ripple and XRP XLM investors, in December 2020, the SEC charged, as we know, Ripple and two of his executives with conducting a $1.3 billion unregistered securities offering. Okay, right, the lawsuits and so on. The SEC, in part, defines a security as a financial vehicle that, when sold, has a clear benefactor. That's the bottom line. This in contrast to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, where there is no clear benefactor to the sale of the currency. For example, where there is an Ethereum foundation, they hold around 0.3% of ETH, do not actively benefit from the current sales. Of course, as we know, when it comes to Ripple, it's labeled a different. However, like it mentions here, there's all the indicators that Ripple will win the lawsuit, and if anything, like you're going to see a positive result here soon. Some people think it might be over by November. I originally was saying that I saw it, drag out to March. I honestly think that by the end of the year, this thing's going to be over. That's just my personal opinion. But where it states right here is, for instance, it says that Ripple could lead to broader adoption of the cryptocurrency as an XRP, particularly among U.S. banks and financial institutions. This could lead to an increased price and market cap. We're always pounding that home, which is something that the crypto investors may want to take note of, not financial advice, right? Now, in regards to a little bit more of this, right? Like it mentions ISO integration with other cryptocurrencies. You could read a little bit more of that. That has a lot of like the technical things about it. I will do another video in regards to ISO 222 for beginners. Be on the lookout for that if you just rather just start from like a ISO 222 101 class, if you want to call it. But nonetheless, the technical details of ISO 222 payments. This part, I feel as though we're going to cover a little bit, but not word for word, to say the least. This last part right here, for instance, autonomous system number, ASN, is a unique identifier that is globally available and allows its autonomous system to exchange routing information with other systems. Routing information allows for funds to be sent from different accounts through the world. Again, going from point A to point B, that's the whole bottom line. But the current system of point A to point B is very vague as far as where the location is, the little things like the address, just it's too vague. As a result, you send out I guess you could say like a query, and then the person from point B, or from point A to point B, gets that, and it's not enough information, so it sends back like a message, to a sense, right? Like we talked about earlier, and that message basically says, I need more information. Well, while this is all going on, a lot of time is going by, right? So if you think about this, right, the whole concept, well, I should say the whole concept, but basically there's a lot to be said for ISO 222. For one, a lot of people have focused on, hey, a country like Germany sends, $5 trillion from their country to, I'm just throwing out an example, like Italy, right? $5 trillion, and it's going to take an hour for that transaction to go through. Well, if it was on XRP, for instance, that could be done like in 5 seconds. Again, it's not just about the speed; it's also about the security. So, um, think about this: a hacker group, right? Hacker group is more likely to hack that transaction and potentially steal part of it, some of it, whatever you want to call it, but it could be compromised. So the point I'm trying to make is, it's a lot better to, have finalization done on the transaction in 3 to 5 seconds compared to like a whole entire hour, to say the least. Sorry, I apologize. All right, a little bit more. Benefits of ISO 222 specification. Take a drink of this real quick. And that is this. Like it mentions, while the ISO 222 specification may seem like an extremely technical upgrade, just think about it. That's the whole point of it, right? Upgrading your systems, your banking systems, to be more not just compliant, but it makes sense. As the saying goes, time is money. With little impact on the average banking client or investor, it will provide a variety of important benefits. And I want you guys to focus on this as well, at least for the institutions that use it. And some of those benefits could trickle down to lower banking fees for consumers. So while it's all great for the banks to benefit from it, having less fees for consumers, that's great. Like nobody wants to get hit up with more fees. Some of the most impactful benefits of ISO 222 adoption include the following: increased interoperability by supporting non-Latin alphabets. Messages can be grouped based on data components from different payment methods. Messaging can be used for a wide array of purposes, including domestic payments, cross-border payments, high-value payments, ACH, and real-time payments. Increased data quality and automation will lead to easier fraud detection methods. And on top of that, less human actions and more automation could lead to increased accuracy, to say the least. However, there are some downsides to the ISO 222 specification. Specifically, many banks may not have the technology to easily migrate to the standard. And this could lead to additional costs, meaning that many banks may not meet the aggressive ISO 222 adoption timelines proposed by SWIFT. And that's fine. Let's face it, not all the banks out there are going to do it. But the key is to see the majority of the ones do it, which means the insane amount of adoption, which means if you're investing into this is big for you. Last but not least, in conclusion, of course, this is the cream of the crop. Investors should closely watch cryptos using the ISO 222 standard, to say the very, very least. We cover here at Crypto Talk Now these various different ISOs. You guys seen much, a lot of content, especially coming out lately when it comes to Qnt, XDC, XRP. Lately, we've been covering a little bit of XLM, right? So, like it says, ISO 222 is clearly the future of worldwide interbank communication, and I can't even pound it home enough. I mean, that is understated, to say the least, in my opinion. It's not just the future worldwide interbank communications, but you think of all the utility that's going to happen. Yeah, to try and make it compliant, but again, like what XRP is solving, what the likes of Qnt is doing with payment APIs, and just everything they're doing with legacy systems, current systems of blockchain, just on and on and on. But yes, like it says, with many believing that cryptocurrency is the future of money, the fusion between these two systems could bring an explosion in the popularity and usage of cryptocurrencies between traditional and crypto-focused decentralized financial entities. It is too early to say how this will impact the crypto market. In some ways, if ISO 222 is too successful, it could actually reduce the market need for crypto as a payment processing solution. I don't quite agree with that statement, but I do understand why they're saying that. However, it's more likely that TradeFi and DeFi crypto industries will begin to merge like never before, and that's what I personally see happening. Therefore, investors may want to watch ISO 222 compliant cryptos. That's why we keep covering it here at Crypto Talk Now, for potential price movements, and may also want to track whether existing or brand new cryptocurrencies and tokens begin to adopt the ISO 222 standard. But while there's a few right now, Like you see up above here, in this thumbnail, which basically is probably like, part of the thumbnail of what you're watching, you see these ones listed right here, right? And with those ones listed right there, there's going to be more. And with that said, we're going to pay attention to some of those things. So, guys, it's just that, this is a little bit more like just trying to educate, more and more people like yourself about some of the nitty gritty, as I would say, in regards to all this. I know it's a lot to take in, a little bit longer of a video, but sometimes it's necessary to basically bring you guys this particular type of information, to say the least. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know some areas might be a little bit more drawn out, but you know what? If it's necessary, it's necessary. There's always going to be those times where we have like the 5-minute videos, and going to be the ones in which are more in-depth analysis. So thanks for watching today's video in regards to ISO 222 and how it's going to have a huge impact on crypto, to say the least. Watch our live show, The Max and Larry Show, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and also Crypto Talk Now with Larry at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We have 2 shows every single day of the week. So thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. All have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.